you're back again. Today, I want to talk about what I think everybody will agree, is the GOAT of powerlifting, and that would be none other than Ed Coan. As many awesome lifters as there are out there, and I had a video a while back about Mike Bridges. Mike Bridges is a little bit different in that he started out at a lighter weight class in his lifting and didn't go quite as heavy as Ed eventually did. But you can make an argument for him. You can make an argument for certainly Larry. You know, Larry had 9, came very close to 10 world championships, and he was a little bit before Ed. So, I don't think it's a stretch by any means to say that that Ed is the greatest of all time. He beat people far bigger than him and did it for years and years. And actually, I've been kind of ragging on Mr. Joe Weider, but, maybe he's not that bad after all. In fact, it's talking about, I was reading an article where Tony Fitton was interviewing Ed and was talking about how Weider had kind of become a mentor to him and helping him out, helped him go to some meets and stuff like that. And one of the reasons that Ed got back into the USPF competition and drug tested competition was because, Joe was looking for people in the late 80s period that were, against drugs, for drug testing and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and I gotta say, Joe did feature Mike Lambert in quite a few of his articles. So he still didn't shut powerlifting out of the magazine, even though it was called Muscle and Fitness, whereas in the old days it was Muscle Builder and Power. Anyhow, probably the sum of what Mike lays out in this article from July of 87, Muscle and Fitness, is called A Saga of Strength, and it's highlights of Ed's career, which starts out with, after 6 months of training, he squatted 500 pounds and totaled 1255 as a novice. At the 83 YMCA National Championships in Columbus, he won the 165 class with a squat of 655, a bench of 402, and a deadlift of 683, total of 1741, which at 165 is pretty impressive, to say the least. And he defeated the current lightweight champion of the world in that meet. Then in 83 Senior Nationals, which was a USPF event, I'm pretty sure, he dropped almost 30 pounds trying to make the weight limit so he could get back in the 165s. Didn't quite make it, so he ended up lifting the next class up, which some of us can relate to, in the 181s. And he placed second to a world champion against lifters that outweighed him by 10 pounds. Because, again, he was trying to make the 165s going into this meet. Then at the YMCA National Championships, he made the move to the 181-pound division and, more comfortably. And he won the lifts. He won with 766 squat, 418 bench, and a 760 deadlift, and a total of 1945. And, of course, he made the cover of Powerlifting USA then. The same year, in 84, he was on the cover of Powerlifting USA again after winning the 181-pound class at the Senior Nationals with lifts of 782 in the squat, 451 in the bench, and 793 in the deadlift for a total of 2,028 pounds. He went on to win the World Championship that year, defeating his Finnish competitor by well over 100 pounds. That's saying something in the World Championships. In 1985, Ed crashed the 2,200-pound total barrier at the Hawaii Invitational, and he did it for the first time in the next higher weight class only 1 week later, and then did the same again at the Senior National Championships back in the 198-pound class with lifts of 859, 485, and 859, again making the cover of Powerlifting USA. In Dayton, Ohio, in June of '86, Ed stunned the world of powerlifting with his performance in the 220-pound class, making lifts of 920 in the squat, 523 in the bench press, and 865 in the deadlift for a total of 2309. Ed won another world title in '86 back in Hawaii and moved his all-time best total up to 2330 off lifts of 920 in the squat, and he missed 940, 555 in the bench press, and 855 in the deadlift. And plus he missed 880. And this was all just as of July of '87, this writing. He just kept on going like this. So, now a couple other very interesting things about Ed's career. A lot of the guys that were great lifters usually had one specific lift that they were really good at, and usually were genetically gifted in that area, like maybe long arms for deadlift, which would not help you on bench press much. And he did say his arms were a little on the long side, and he had big hands. That was one thing he had going for him, was big hands. He was only 5'5", 5'6". So he wasn't very tall. Didn't have really any huge advantages in any particular lift. Didn't have any secret weapons in his training. If you look at his training, it's really pretty basic. Start out with 10s or 8s, go to 5s, go to 3s, go to singles, and that would be pretty much it. He only ever really competed in single-ply gear per IPF rules. And he won 7 world championships, most of which were IPF, but a couple APF, and he competed in some other things. But if you look at like the list of his competitions, it's a very long list, and there's a whole lot of first places in them from regionals. And he started out when he was like 17 in the 165s, and competed up until masters. He did do a world meet where he was just a guest lifter when he was in his 50s. That was like the last really big meet that he was in, and all he did there was squat. All he did, but he was like 50 something and squatted high sixes. And the other thing was he wasn't the type of guy that would get all excited. Like you see guys that come up and scream and bang their head on the bar. Not Ed. He was just very calm, and he was asked about that, and he said it was a waste of energy. Didn't see the need, didn't see the point in doing that kind of stuff. But if you look at his world championships and nationals, he competed mostly in the USPF. He did like the USPF. So 86 senior nationals first, 89 or 88, 89, 90, 91, 93, 94, 95. He was first place in all those senior nationals. And then in the IPF Worlds, 84 and 85 he would have, but he was disqualified for guess what? And then, so in 85 and 86, or I'm sorry, 86 and 87 is when he won APF Worlds. Then he went back to the IPF, 88, 89. And 89 again, he was disqualified, probably would have won. 93, 94, and 95, IPF Worlds again. And then in 99, WPF Worlds. So he did have a little stint with the APF there for a couple of years, and he liked Ernie France. But one of the things that makes him the GOAT is the lifts that he made at the body weight he was at. he was outlifting people, you know, in the 198s. He was outlifting like super heavyweights. So that's one of the things that makes him the GOAT. And I think it's kind of hard to argue. So I'm going to sign out at that. Thanks for watching.